Hey guys, Mike here. So definitely an interesting day in the market, very volatile, which I think we're going to have quite a few of those this summer, so we'll buckle up for that. But it was definitely another strange day, and I'll show you what I'm talking about because you rarely get to see all of this stuff at the same time going green. In this video though, we're really going to go in detail on NVIDIA, one price point, which it would be a fantastic price point if I ever got to it. But also a lot of you guys keep asking about Oracle during the internet rise versus NVIDIA during obviously the AI rise. And so I found some research, some posts and stuff I like that we'll get into it, and are they the same, are they different? That's what we're going to look at, and you can judge for yourself. Also, Apple had their, I don't know if you want to call it AI conference, whatever it is, and it was, to me it was underwhelming, but a lot of Apple fans probably loved it. But Elon also had something to say about that as well, because they did roll out something. And remember, when it comes to all this stuff, it's all about trying to monetize it. You can roll out all the stuff you want, all the bells and whistles, but if you ain't making no money off of it, just a waste of time. That's all it is. So that's what a lot of companies are struggling with right now. I don't think Apple's any different, to be honest with you. And then, of course, we'll go into a few other stock charts. But here's what I'm talking about when I say it's kind of a weird day, because you got all the indexes green, your equal weight ETFs green, dollar green, yields green, HYG is green, the VIX was up almost 8% at one point in time of day. Oil's green, transportation is green, just green across the board. And we did start off red in the morning when we started off. Then, of course, had a recovery. Now, of course, what was it? NVIDIA's stock split, right? So, again, you woke up to 100 times, whatever, how many shares you had in your account today. And, again, you didn't see it sell off, ended green for the day. And so, of course, a lot of people are expecting to sell off. And remember, I said how the market goes, NVIDIA go, you might see some little slight pullbacks, like it was down 2% at open, but where was the markets? Red, right? Especially IWM was down over 1%, the Qs were down like 0.4%, so no surprise there. Now, when you look at this, people always say, man, what would be a great buy-in? If we do get a nice pullback, whether that's because the market pulls back or NVIDIA, whatever it may be, this level right here, you're always looking for confluence, which I'll go over in another chart for you, where you can get in a bunch of different stuff. And on this one, what you're looking at is a nice support level, moving averages right there as well, coming down to a discount area below the 0.50 Fibonacci level into that golden pocket area as well. And so when you just kind of look at that, and it'll be I think it's like a 20% pullback for that to happen. But again, that will be just a great level. So if the market does show weakness and start to sell off, you'll see if NVIDIA can get down to that. So that will be a nice level, which would be between $96 and $102. Now, you might have saw today, obviously, CEO, he's going to sell $735 million in stock. And you're like, oh my goodness, this is it. It's going down. Then you put it in perspective and you realize the man has over 105 billion. Is that correct? Oh my goodness. Okay, because now he has 868 million shares because he multiplied his by 100 as well. But still, either way, it was still $105 billion. So that's less than 1%. So again, make of it much, what you wish, and you got to ask yourself, wouldn't you sell some too? I mean, it's going up crazy, right? Now, everybody asks about this, okay? So Cisco, who obviously used to sell all the equipment during the internet boom, all this good stuff, versus NVIDIA during the AI boom. And yes, the charts line up pretty decent, no doubt about that. According to this chart, we should be getting somewhere near the top, and NVIDIA should implode and sell off like 90% or something like that, right? According to this chart right here, at least. Put in the comments if you think that's going to happen. Now, the difference, and I like some of these posts I found, I should explain it to you, is like Frank right here, which I don't know him, but again, he was saying, and this is actually true, right? So during the dot-com bubble, there were a lot of worthless companies and a lot of fraud companies, okay, buying up this stuff and making it sound like they were great and everything. They were just nothing but accounting frauds. And now you do have the large companies, like you saw Elon talk about how many billions of dollars worth they bought, right, in these AI chips. The whole point is, can companies monetize it? And then you go in the post that Dan Niles made, which I liked, and it starts off by saying, my belief is over the next 3 to 4 years, NVIDIA revenues are likely to roughly triple from current levels, with the stock roughly doubling. However, before year end, we can be near a digestion phase for the amounts of spent on AI over the past year and a half since the launch of ChatGPT in late 2022. And you can read through this if you want to about the projections of the AI industry, how many billions of dollars, all that good stuff. And again, you got large software vendors that just reported April quarter, such as CRM, MDB, Snow, and they were optimistic on the benefits of AI in their business. However, future expectations were cut despite AI benefits. This is what I'm talking about. As the economy slows, companies cut back. all that good stuff. So now we talk about Cisco, right? So even during the buildup of the internet of Cisco, which became the most valuable company in the world in 2000, went through periods of severe stock declines. The concern rose about the internet spend digestion, how much companies actually are giving them and stuff for these chips. So Cisco stock saw declines of 26%, 38%, 37% in those years he has listed right there. Despite these intraday year declines, the stock was up during each of those years in total and increased over 4,000% at its peak in 2000. And this is kind of the key when you're talking about, you know, the earnings and things like that. So for perspective, Cisco, the leading enabler of the internet infrastructure build out since the end of 1994, the launch of internet web browser Netscape Navigator saw its revenues increase over 15x from 434 million to 6.7 billion without ever having a sequentially down quarter. NVIDIA, by comparison, since end of 2022, has seen revenues increase by only 4x over 1.5 years from 5.9 billion to 26 billion. AI spending driven by the biggest companies in the world is healthier today than earlier, especially back then in the dot-com era. And so, and I think when you look at it, I forgot what the PE of Cisco back then versus NVIDIA and stuff, you know, it seems crazy. You know, it was just a different deal going on versus what's happening now. And still early in this phase, if this is going to continue to go up, right? And of course, are bubbles, you know, hard to predict when they're going to burst? Of course, right? Because the market loves to pump up and create these bubbles, whether it's the internet, AI, all this crazy stuff. But it takes time, and eventually, if the market figures out, oh my goodness, like these companies are not increasing their revenue like we thought they would, and they can't monetize this stuff, then oh well, and they'll sell them down, right? And there's going to be market turbulence, right? So we're going to have, you know, I'm sure you've heard people talking about distribution, we're at the top. I mean, I did a video on it, what to look for if we're at the top and stuff. And so you're going to see 5%, 10%. Who knows if you'll see a 20%? We'll see coming up here. And I'll put a chart in that tomorrow's video for you to look at. But if that happens, the video is going to sell down just like any other stock. That's just the way it's going to be. The interesting thing now is by doing this stock split where they did it, if the market does hold up, it's going to be very interesting to see how people deal with the options market, because now selling puts and buying calls and all this stuff is so much cheaper. So people are going to start running the wheel strategy on NVIDIA and all kinds of stuff. If you don't know what that is, look it up. And so they're going to start selling puts because they have way less capital they have to hold in their account if they get called on that. And they're going to start buying a lot more calls for sure, because now, you know, the premiums aren't crazy, most likely. And so again, and a lot of people are just going to see the price of the stock and say, wow, especially if you got to like below 100. It's, oh, I'm in that, you know, and they're going to jump in. It's just psychological. So we just got to figure out, you know, or really just see how the market is going to hold up. That's what really is going to affect NVIDIA more than anything else. You saw when Walmart did their split, they're not NVIDIA, right? And they went up. They dropped a little bit and then started just heading to all-time highs. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. It is going to be weird because I think it's like every $10 increment now is like previously $100, right? So, you know, NVIDIA is going to appear like a slow mover, but percentage-wise is the same thing of what it was doing before. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, you can see, I mean, it's funny to watch, but most semiconductors are green except for AMD. I'm not going to bother going into this chart. I'll just tell you this. AMD, out of all of them, ended up getting a downgrade. Again, it's like NVIDIA's stepbrother and stuff when it comes to the chips and everything. And so Morgan Stanley cut their rating, and so it dropped. It was down about 5%, I believe, at its low today. So that's why this one dropped. And on the chart, you know, I'll go over tomorrow. This video is just too busy to be going over that one right now. But again, it fell out of that channel. We'll see if it starts to make a comeback tomorrow. When you look at Tesla and something about and something else about NVIDIA, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I'm going to put Tesla on here. So you got Tesla and NVIDIA. Before June, you know, you would see, you know, NVIDIA pop, Tesla's, you know, with pop and all this good stuff. And a lot of times they would somewhat go in the same direction, right? Unless Tesla's just having a major meltdown or something like that. But all of a sudden June hits and it's like, oh my goodness, it's like an inverse relationship. You see it almost every single day for the month of June, where if NVIDIA is popping, Tesla is going down. And if Tesla's popping, NVIDIA is going down. You see June right here, right? So it's look at it. You can tell it's an inverse relationship. Like Tesla pops right here, right? NVIDIA starts going down. All of a sudden, Tesla starts shooting down, and NVIDIA starts shooting up, right? And you can see multiple instances of this where Tesla goes up, NVIDIA comes down, right? Tesla goes down, NVIDIA goes up, vice versa. And when you look at even what happened today, it was the exact same thing, okay? Tesla started going up, NVIDIA went down this morning, and then all of a sudden Tesla started selling off and NVIDIA just took off, right? It was a 4% reversal on it stuff. So, you know, I don't know what's going on with that. I just happened to look at the charts today and I was like, well, they actually are in inverse of each other right now. I don't know why that started in June. If you happen to know, let me know. Again, Tesla is just coiling like crazy right now and expect to make a big move in either direction depending on Elon Musk's pay package, which is going to be voted on the 13th, I believe, or have all the votes in and stuff. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Now, when it comes to Apple, obviously they announced they're going to be putting ChatGPT and Siri for free later this year. Elon Musk came out immediately and was like, if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. This is an unacceptable security violation, and visitors will have to check their Apple devices at the door where they will be stored in a Faraday cage. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm too stupid to understand even what that means because I'm not a techie guy. But as usual, and most of these events will happen, the stocks sell down. When you look at this one, you can clearly see on that trend line right there that it just keeps knocking up against it. That's 4 times now that has happened. And so like I said, this can continue to grind up right there. But what's interesting, look at these moving averages. They're all basically in the same spot. You see the 50 fixing across the 100 most likely, across the 200. And so usually when you see they're caught up like that in the same area, there's going to be a decent move in one direction or the other. And right now the 50 is inclined like crazy. And so it begs to differ. They're about to cross like they did right here. And you could see a big move. Now, of course, when you kind of span out on Apple and you look at this, you're also looking to say, okay, is this fixing to be a triple top, right? Because if we hit up here around that 200 area again and get rejected, then that looks like it's going to be a triple top. And do I believe that target down at the bottom? Absolutely not. It would take a market crash for Apple to be falling that far down to like almost like 120 right there. And so that's not going to happen. But again, let me know on the bottom what you think here. I mean, it's setting up for it, but you know, this time again, if the market continues to stay strong, we continue to pump in June, it should end up breaking through that 200 area, and it can negate all of that right there, as you can see. Let me know what you think down the bottom on that one. Now, looking at Amazon, we talked about this one. I'm talking about when I say confluence. All right, we talked about this right here. It was down the bottom of that channel. It was in an area where it got multiple bounces and stuff. It was sitting there on the 100-day moving average. And then, of course, if we sit here and bring out the fib, you can see it was in a discount area right here. And so when you look, we'll bring it right to the bottom of that one where it started that pump right there. And so you got like 4 different things that give you a lot of confluence right here. As you can see, it hit the 0.7 Fibonacci level and bounced, and it's been bouncing ever since. We just got to see, is it actually going to get through 188.50, get back up to 192? That's what we got to make out on this one and see if that's actually going to happen. But it is above these moving averages. The moving averages are heading in the right direction. Again, you want to find stocks with a lot of confluence, especially if you're trying to swing trade. Maybe you're trying to dollar cost average into them, and it usually pays off pretty well. Now, looking at the Chinese stocks real quick, because I got to ask about these too. Most of these are coming into where they're at a discount range, coming back into some area of support where they were in the stage 1, trying to break out stage 2, and also coming down either on their moving averages or right above their moving averages. And so watch for these to start to get a bounce, because usually when you get to the 50 or the golden pocket, you're sitting there with moving averages into some kind of support, you usually might see a bounce. Now, Celsius here basically is a falling knife at this point in time, but it's sitting there at a very interesting spot where it got bought up last time. It's sitting on its 200-day moving average. Okay, so keep an eye on this one. Still need that stochastic to get back above 20, and you know the RSI start looking a little better. But right now, you know, a lot of people are going to target anywhere from $60 to $66 on this one. So if it does break that 200, let's watch and see if it falls even farther down to around $63. But right now it is at that good bounce point, and this is a high flyer, right? So I tell you, when it crashes, and when it moves, it moves. Okay, so again, right now it's a falling knife. You can jump on it if you want to. I personally wait for some kind of confirmation and turn around. Because you look at this MACD, you can see it needs a bullish cross. And you see last time, even when it turned up, it took like a week, right? So then really do something. And then when that MACD crossed, you got good bullishness. And then when it crossed that 0 line, bam, that's what I always tell you about SHOP. It just exploded, okay? Because it's a high beta name, low float stock. Now, when you look over here, earnings, All you're getting is a retailer and Academy Sports, and then Oracle in the afternoon, and then a 10-year bond auction is all we got leading up to Wednesday, which is going to be crazy because rarely do you get the FOMC meeting with CPI, and so that day is just filled full of red folder news and news that will absolutely move markets all over the place. So that's to me, I'm gonna be stunned if that's not the most volatile day of the week for sure. And then you got PPI coming out the very next day. So again, just watch yields. All you got to do is just watch yields, right, on those days. But again, let's make it through tomorrow. Let's see how the 10-year bond auction goes, how much demand they're getting. Because obviously, as I showed you, a 10-year is kind of trying to bounce right now after having like 6 or 7 red days in a row. So we'll see if that happens or not. So anyway, hope you guys got some out of it. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did. Appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to sign up for the membership, Less Than McDonald's combo, if you like private videos, Discord, and a morning news brief, all right, which puts everything you can imagine into it. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow.